On December 2023, a British man took a flight to Kenya, hoping to meet the love of his life after the two had been in an online romantic relationship. Shockingly, he had no idea what was waiting for him once he stepped onto Kenyan soil. When he landed at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, no one was there to meet him. He had fallen in love with what he believed was his Kenyan bride-to-be, Anita, after exchanging messages with her for months while he was in the United Kingdom. Roderick Lodge, a former UN humanitarian official who had previously worked for an airline before joining the United Nations, had served for more than 15 years across the Horn of Africa, including in Kenya. After losing his wife of 25 years in 2019, he hoped to find love again. He believed his savings of 15 million Kenyan shillings would help him build a new life. But instead, they disappeared in a carefully orchestrated romance scam that he never saw coming. After the death of his wife, Roderick believed he had found love again with a Kenyan woman named Anita. The beginning of his ordeal dates back to the summer of 2023, when a Kenyan woman named Mary, whom he described as a close friend, introduced him to Anita. Mary claimed she had secured another job in South Sudan and was leaving Kenya, so she decided to connect Roderick with Anita, a woman she said she knew very well. Roderick had first met Mary while working in Nairobi in 2020, a year after his wife Pauline passed away. He believed Mary was a genuine friend. Over the years, he had helped her financially by paying for car repairs and other personal expenses. Anita, who claimed to be 39 years old, promised to fulfill all of Roderick's emotional needs and give him a peaceful life in Kenya. However, Anita never actually existed. She claimed to be the mother of 2 sons studying at universities abroad. They communicated through Viber, where Anita told him she was the managing director of a beauty company with 30 employees. She portrayed herself as a successful businesswoman who owned 2 luxury vehicles. She claimed to live in Karen, a leafy suburb in Nairobi where wealthy people live, while building a retirement home in Voi, Taita Taveta County. Hoping to start a future together, Roderick volunteered to finance the completion of the house, which Anita claimed that she was building and furnish it, so they could marry and settle there once he moved to Kenya. Over time, he sent her a fortune through bank transfers and M-Pesa. Anita regularly sent him photographs showing what appeared to be progress on the 4-bedroom house, though Roderick later discovered the house never existed. He also paid for her medical bills, tuition fees, and numerous other expenses. She sent him intimate photographs, which he has since lost. Everything happened through text messages. They never spoke on the phone, and he never heard her voice. By September 2023, their conversations had turned toward marriage and building a life together. Roderick even agreed to pay her dowry. Anita continued sending him photos of solar panels, water pumps, and construction materials, convincing him that the project was progressing. Then, in November 2023, Anita claimed she needed to travel to Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo to market her products. She told Roderick her business was experiencing cash flow problems and asked him to finance the trip as well. Once again, he agreed. Roderick later said he arrived in Kenya expecting to prepare for his wedding and begin a happy new chapter of his life. Surprisingly, he did not even have a single photograph of Anita. He had never heard her voice, did not have her personal phone number, and had communicated only through Mary. Was Mary the mastermind behind the scam, or was she simply another participant? Unfortunately for Roderick, reality on the ground was very different from what he had imagined. After arriving in Nairobi, Anita claimed she was in Mombasa and repeatedly resisted his requests to return to Nairobi so they could finally meet. For months, she continued making excuses while asking for more money. Meanwhile, Roderick continued paying for his Airbnb accommodation as the bills piled up. Once his money began to run out, Anita gradually stopped communicating with him. In May 2024, Anita claimed her father had been hospitalized with cancer and urgently needed money for medical treatment. Since Roderick had a friend living in Mombasa, he asked him to visit the hospital before sending any more money. When his friend checked the hospital, no patient by that name existed. That was the moment Roderick realized he had been manipulated into sending money to someone who had deceived him from the very beginning. The painful reality finally set in. He had fallen victim to a classic romance scam. His friends had repeatedly warned him about the suspicious transactions, but he refused to listen. Only in May 2024 did their warnings finally become reality. After that, all communication with Anita ended. Roderick, from Send near Guildford, Surrey, was left stranded and broke in Kenya. In total, he says he sent approximately 15 million Kenyan shillings, more than £85,000, over the course of a year to both Anita and Mary. He tried contacting Mary, but she also stopped responding. Roderick reported the alleged fraud to police in Kitengela, but believes he will never recover his money. He alleged that without money, Kenyan police were unwilling to help him. The
Kenyan police.
Right.
The problem with Kenya, seriously, is it's a great country, but unfortunately you need money to do everything.
Right.
You can't get the police to do anything without money, and I didn't have money.
Yeah.
And they actually warned me, because we actually physically...
Called one occasion when police warned him not to visit the woman because they had already located where she allegedly lived. According to Roderick, officers warned him that Anita could accuse him of intimidation if he confronted her. Reflecting on his ordeal, Roderick repeatedly said, "I can't feel stupid enough. I've been such a fool. It feels like my life is over." He believed he had finally found love and became so blinded by his emotions that he failed to carry out even the most basic checks before emptying his savings for someone who may never have existed. He had even sold his home in the United Kingdom to raise more money. Eventually, Roderick was rescued by former colleagues from a major airline who pooled money together to buy him a ticket home after learning of his situation. Before returning to the United Kingdom, he had been stranded in Kitengela, where a friend was hosting him. After arriving at Heathrow Airport, he reportedly slept there for 3 nights. After returning to the United Kingdom, Roderick arranged for media interviews to publicize his story, hoping both to warn others and receive support as he attempted to rebuild his life. He said he doubted anyone in Kenya would help him because many people assume every Mzungu is wealthy. He explained that he was homeless and was being accommodated in a travelodge by his local council after selling his house before traveling to Kenya to meet the woman he believed would become his wife. Roderick later admitted he now doubted whether Anita had ever existed at all. He has no idea who he had actually been communicating with. He said his life was in ruins. His bank accounts had been frozen because he had become overdrawn. He could no longer access his pensions and had nowhere to live. Roderick said he had always been a generous person. His dream had been to retire in Kenya and marry Anita. His bank had previously questioned the large money transfers and warned him they appeared suspicious. However, blinded by love and trusting Mary completely, Roderick ignored those warnings. He said he now has no money and is surviving with help from a few close friends. "I'm going to be a poor man for a long time," he said. "I have no family and no children who can help me. Only a few friends who keep reminding me that I was an idiot." Roderick has since hired Richardson Hartley Law in an attempt to recover some of his money. Despite everything that happened, he said he still believes Kenyans are good people and does not blame an entire nation for what happened to him. Martin Richardson, a partner at the law firm, described the case as a classic romance scam. He explained that the firm had contacted Roderick's UK bank to remind it of its responsibility to protect vulnerable customers. According to Mr. Richardson, the bank had signed a voluntary code requiring financial institutions to safeguard customers who may be vulnerable to scams. He stated, "When these large sums of money were being transferred, we would have expected, in accordance with that voluntary code, the bank to have made very stringent inquiries as to why such substantial amounts were suddenly being moved. Had those obligations been followed, we believe this scam could have been prevented entirely, or, at the very least, stopped much earlier." The United Kingdom's National Reporting Centre for Fraud and Cybercrime, Action Fraud, has also issued guidance on identifying romance scams. The agency advises that, regardless of how long you have been communicating with someone online, you should never send them money unless you have met them in person and independently verified their identity. It also warns people never to provide access to their bank accounts, take out loans on someone else's behalf, share copies of personal documents, or agree to receive or send parcels for someone they have never met. Anyone who believes they have become the victim of a romance scam is advised to contact their bank immediately and report the incident to Action Fraud. If you found this documentary informative, consider subscribing for more in-depth true crime investigations from Kenya and around the world. If you know someone who could benefit from hearing Roderick's story, share this video with them. You might help prevent the next victim. Thank you for watching.